Hey everybody, Martha Krejci here. Tonight we are going to talk about the one thing that turned my entire life around, okay? First things first, if this is your first video here, do make sure that you click on the subscribe button and also the bell so you get to be the first one that gets any new videos that come out. We do at least one a day, okay? So again, let's talk about the one thing that turned my entire life around, okay? I think we're all familiar. If you're new to me, then you may not know part of my backstory, but my backstory involves things like alcoholism, things like binge eating and food addiction. It involves things like abandonment. It involves domestic violence, divorce, all of that stuff. Like it was just I grew up as an independent fundamental Baptist, and then I started veering into the wrong area. I'm very prodigal son story. But I started veering off, you guys, about when I graduated high school. And that's where all of the pain started. That's where all of those different things started making their way into my life. The food addiction was earlier. That happened earlier. But everything else started around then. And then it just got really, really bad. And it culminated into this terrible place, which was after I was divorced. I ended up living in somebody's basement, it wasn't even a nice basement. Okay. Like now I'm a good judge of basements is a thing that I can take from this entire experience. I can tell you your good basements versus your bad basements. This was not a good basement. Okay. There was a weird smell, no walls on, there was like this toilet. It was like a prison toilet or something. It's just kind of like out in the middle of the room. Anyway, it was weird, you guys. So, but I couldn't afford anything. And I was blessed, even in those moments, I was blessed that somebody had a place for me to stay. So as much as I joke about it, I had somewhere to stay, right? So at the end of the day, I was blessed regardless. But I was staying there. I was in the throes. I mean, I had been an alcoholic for years at that point. And whenever you hit rock bottom like that, it didn't help. It's not like I hit rock bottom and I'm like, well, now's a great time to stop drinking. I definitely didn't say that. I kept doing it for a good amount of time. And it was my normal. So there was that, but it was also, it was my way of coping. It was my way of getting through the day. It was a bad place. It was a bad place. So even in those moments, even when it was the worst, when I couldn't even feed myself, and I was literally, do not judge me, you guys, I was literally getting my dog cheeseburgers from Hardee's. I would get her one cheeseburger. They were like 69 cents or something, from Hardee's, because that's all that I could afford. I wouldn't even eat, but I would give her something. And I was feeding her cheeseburgers. So I don't feed her cheeseburgers anymore. So that's a thing. But you guys, even in those moments, even when it was like I was so off track at that point that I was looking at myself. You get these moments of clarity where you sort of like, it's almost like you rise up 30,000 feet and take a survey of what's happening in your world, right? And even in those moments, I looked down and I was like, you're gonna get through this, right? You're gonna get out of this. You're meant for more. There's something like you have more to give people than what is happening to you right now. But even as I sat there and I would think about these things, because I used to smoke cigarettes and everything, I'd have these ashtrays overflowing. Room is a mess. You could look at my surroundings and see how chaotic my inside was, right? And in those moments, I would still just be like, I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know how it's going to get better. but I believe that something's going to happen. I believe that I believe that something is going to be able to get me through this, right? I believe that I'm going to be able to actually make it somehow. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't tell at all, right? I started dating Mike pretty close to those times. Like it was pretty, it was like right there. I mean, yeah, we were dating while I was living in that basement. And he saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself, right? Like he was, you know how when you see other people and you sort of see them struggling. I have this happen to me whenever I do coaching these days, and I see them struggling, and I can even see the block, right? But I know what they can do. I know what they're capable of. And so what I do is I speak life into what they're capable of, because I can see it in their spirit. I can see it in who they are. I can see it in like, it's almost like you just sort of, you're asked to have the eyes of Jesus, right? Like, show me this person's everything. Show me I want to see their soul. I want to see what they're made of. I want to see what they can really do. Regardless of what they think they can do, none of that matters to me at all. What somebody thinks they can do doesn't matter to me at all, because you guys, I don't believe that Mike was even trying to do this on purpose, but I believe that it was divine in the reason that it was happening. But he was speaking life and truth over parts of me that are like the strategy parts of me that are just being smart and being able to figure things out. And he was speaking life over that, and that led to all sorts of opportunities opening once I started to believe him. He said it enough times where I would believe him, and then I would be able to own that part of myself, right? And then I can walk forward in that part of myself. Something that I want for you guys to understand from this, and then I'm going to tell a little bit more of the story here, but what a big part that I want you guys to understand is that when we speak life over people, people will, they will raise or they will fall to people's expectations. Okay? This is a true statement. I tell this story a lot, but there was a teacher that had a class full of students, and the class full of students, they were doing really bad at their tests. Okay? It was failing test scores, low test scores, something like that. And the only thing that she changed for a period of time, the only thing that she changed is whenever the students came to class, she started letting them know how brilliant they were, how much of a genius they were. They were so smart. Like she was edifying them. She was breathing life into them. She was speaking truth over them, right? And the next time that those students had to take tests, their test scores went up. And the reason why wasn't because what she was teaching. The reason why is because she was setting the expectation, quite frankly, that they are brilliant. And then they rose to the occasion, you guys. So my challenge is this. My challenge is, if you know anybody that you need to help them rise to the occasion, if you need to help them out of something, if you just need to breathe life over them, find what is that brilliant part of them and speak to it. Speak to it, speak to it, speak to it. Just keep doing it, okay? And then also the flip side of the coin for that challenge, you guys, is if you get frustrated with people and you start talking down to them and things like that, that's where we need to, and we're human, we all do it sometimes. We need to be very conscious of what we're saying, because whenever we speak down to people and we speak, quite frankly, the word is death. When we speak death over that person, they will also lower themselves to that. Okay? So if we speak life over people, they're going to raise themselves to that. the opposite is also true. So that is my challenge. That is something that I was gifted in my life, and I was absolutely blessed to have in my life. And I believe it actually made a big difference in everything that happened after that. But I'm going to talk about this other situation super quick, okay? So after we had been together for a while, then we started a business. We started our marketing agency. We had a couple businesses. We owned a magazine and some different things, some ventures that we had, and the pendulum swung is what happened. So I went from having no control at all, or feeling like I didn't have any control at all, living in the basement and all of that, right? I felt like life was happening to me, not for me. And then the pendulum swung into having to control everything and feeling like if I didn't have my fingers in it, if I wasn't controlling it, then it wasn't going to get done. It wasn't going to get done right. The world was going to fall apart. I had to hang on to all of my stuff or I was going to lose it. That was where I went. So I went from feeling like I had no control to like hanging on to everything, thinking like, oh, I've got this stuff, now I can't lose it, right? And it's a natural swing. When said like that, I think it's a natural swing, right? But here's the thing is that doesn't feel good either. This didn't feel good, neither did that. Okay, this is more successful, so other people looking at you are like, ah, she's doing it, right? But I was freaked out. I was like, I can't lose this. I've got to. It was consuming me. Okay, so that was another. If we look at addiction, right? If we look at addictive traits, it was consuming me. I was addicted to that at that point. Okay. What actually changed my world completely, you guys, like a 180 complete shift, was a day that I remember I was sitting at my house. We had the marketing agency. Of course, I was already just grasping so hard to the marketing agency, and I'm like, oh, we're doing it, and like we can't lose it, so I've got to have everything, and just crazy. And of course, marketing is just it's a difficult landscape anyway, because it's a boys club. So you're competing all the time. Like it just was, ugh. Anyway, so I remember the day I was sitting at the house and I just felt the need to go in my bedroom for a minute and just relax. So what I did is I went in my room, and the minute that I walked in the room and I shut the door behind me, I just dropped to my knees. It was one of those, I'm taken right back to the moment where it was like it's not a forced surrender, because we aren't forced to do anything, right? But it was a surrender that was like, you can't keep doing this, right? Like, stop doing this. Like, I got this. I felt it was like sort of like that tap, where you get tapped in on something. It was like a tap, like, listen, I got this, right? And I just let everything go. I let the need to be right go. I let the which is that it takes a bit to go, just so you know. Also, I let the need to know what was going to happen in the future. I just spat all over myself, you guys. I let the need to know what was going to happen in the future go. I let everything go. All of it. I completely and absolutely surrendered to only knowing the next couple of steps. And that is scary. That's scary for somebody for anybody. But if you look at my story, I had nothing at all. And then I had a lot and was scared to lose it. And then all of a sudden I come into a place where it's just free fall, essentially. Free fall. Free fall knowing that there's a net. Okay? There's a different experience with free fall when you know that there's a net. So that was what I did. I sat there in silence and just let everything go. And my shoulders dropped. My demeanor changed. I I had a world open up to me that I had never seen before, that I didn't even know existed, right? Because when you're just so focused on yourself, which is what our society wants us to be, when you're so focused on yourself and all of your things, right? You're just like you're all of your bandwidth, everything is on that, and you can't see everything else. You guys, what opened up to me was everything. Everything opened up. And what I mean by that, because that does sound a little ambiguous, I can hear it coming out of my mouth and it sounds ambiguous. What opened up was being able to serve, being able to take care of other people around me, in my circles, maybe not in my circles. I opened myself up. I surrendered myself to be used. That has made the entire difference in my life. And I'm crying not because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm just blessed. I'm just happy to be tapped to serve in this way. Is like, there's nothing more fulfilling, satisfying. There's nothing better in life, you guys, than being able to show up for other people in their place of need wherever they are. Okay? And now I believe I went through this and I went through that in order to be able to come here in the center. So it was like poof, poof. And then be able to come here in the center and be able to serve both of these types of people, because I've been both of them, right? And to be able to show them that there's a different way. And really, I don't even me saying that, like, how I'm going to serve them, I don't even know, because every day is different. Every day I end up with new things on my plate. I end up with new people in front of me. My prayer every morning is, how can I serve? How can I be able to serve today? And then the second prayer, you guys, is illuminate the people I'm supposed to serve so I don't mess it up, right? Because I'm still human. Make it so stinking obvious that I need to work with this person that I cannot say no, right? Like, that's where those are the types of prayers that I have in the morning. But you guys, the surrender is it. Everything. My life completely changed when I surrendered to our Creator, to the universe, to God, whatever you want to call that, makes no difference to me. I call him God. When I surrendered, everything changed. And I'm not saying like everybody needs to be like me. I'm not saying that at all. But I do feel the need to let people know that that was a really big deal for me. So that's the reason why I'm even addressing this at all. I don't usually go into stuff like this, but the reason that I'm addressing it at all is because I really feel like people need to understand that it wasn't just a natural thing that I did and whatever. No, like it was a very divine thing. It was like the tap, like listen for when the taps happen. But anyway, all of that said, you guys, if you have any questions, if you ever want to reach out to me, feel free to go ahead and comment below. Let me know about any taps that you've had. I love hearing about people's journeys and how they've gone through different things. And my favorite thing to do in life, you guys, is to look back at the journey and to see how it got me where I am right now. Like, it's magical to me to be able to do that. But let me know like what your taps were and what happened for you, right? Maybe something that felt terrible, but that ended up actually being good. I would love to hear about that stuff. But you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.